Hi, folks. Welcome back to Whims of the Creator. I am J3 Puffin. I'm still here with Paru,
That's me.
and we are talking now about the red cards in his Touhou custom set. Starting off with this Reimu Hakare, the Eternal Shrine Maiden, the protagonist Chad energy of the series. Just look at her. She is full of power, as you can see. If your stock has 2 or less cards, this card gets plus 1500 power. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you may pitch a fantasy trait character from your hand. You draw a card and move this card to an open position of your center stage. This card is great.
It's like an evolution of like a mill runner that you can't whiff,
Yeah.
but does require some amount of input from the player to like resolve.
Which makes
Um,
sense, because she's the player character. Of course she has player
right.
input.
This card should actually, now that I'm reading it again, it should probably have like the stipulation that it is in your front row. Uh, just because maybe getting a free draw every turn during your opponent's turn is a bit much. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't actually matter. But I think it's a pretty good runner profile. It definitely lives a turn at 35. And you filter your high level characters out of your hand, hopefully.
Yeah. You know what you could do?
What's up?
You could reverse the order on it, so it says you may pay the cost. If you do, move this card to an open position of your center stage, and if you do, draw a card.
Oh, that's true. Oh, but then you can't do the funny thing of it's in your center stage. If your opponent's forced to put a guy in front of it and you don't want to move, but you still want to draw, I think that's fair too. I don't know. I'll look at this one again after this. It'll be a very small amount of text that gets changed.
Yeah.
The core identity of the card is still big runner that happens to draw card.
Yeah. This. Yeah.
It's a really good card. If you're in red, you're probably on like 4 of this.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like a crazy turn 1 play.
Yeah, it's good for turn. I'm one of those. Man, I came into this game where like field plussing just did not seem to be nearly as big a deal. Because like Hololive was just a pile of utility cards, and like a lot of the time you just did not care as much. So like I have always been kind of like I'm always skewed when it comes to these field plussing profiles. You don't see nearly as many of them, I think, in my sets as you do in other folks around the community. Just because like I just didn't play them nearly as often.
Mm-hmm.
But it's super flavorable for Reimu to be like this.
Uremu
It
in
seems
particular,
super
she is
solid.
like all about dodging.
But yeah,
She has a very small hitbox in relation to like other playable characters, and we'll talk a bit about her actual like ability when we talk about the next card for her, because that one is much more direct in referencing it.
yeah,
But this is like your premier double R protagonist zero level zero. Comes out on Yute 2980 or 3980.
yeah.
4 of in every deck.
God,
And you know what? I like Reimu.
she's just such a
And
classic
sometimes
designer.
you're allowed to bounce cards like that.
God, yeah, she's just classic. Like when she's like drawn up like this instead of like like all about in her business, like being like witty and serious and whatever. Like it's just like this art, she just looks super. And like
Hmm.
like damn,
She is just like a genuinely like pretty good character. She's like really sassy.
yeah, the firebrand.
Yeah. Let's look at the next card.
Yep, from one of my
I
favorite
am my
cards.
beloved. We have Aya Shimemuru, Tengu Reporter. During your turn, if you have another fantasy character, she gets plus 3,000 power. And then she is on attack. If you have this stock soul in your climax area, and you have 2 or more other characters, look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 fantasy character from among them. Reveal it to your opponent, put it in your hand, put the rest into the waiting room, and then you may pay the cost, which is a pay 1 discarded trait character. If you do, look up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose a fantasy character from among them, reveal it to your opponent, put it in your hand, put the rest in the waiting room, choose up to 1 of your opponent's characters, and return that character to their hand.
Yeah, this card is like fascinating technology, but my god, is it evil?
It doesn't belong to like a particular archetype, but it is like kind of insane. It is a Maguro for 7, but if you choose to go all 7, you have to pay. And bouncing is like really good because you can like get rid of annoying stuff.
Yeah.
And also it's Aya, and Aya's a cute bird girl,
She out there
and
finding.
that's based.
She's out there reporting. Look at that. She got so
That's
many
right. So
pictures.
like the idea behind the climax combo, right? She's taking pictures, get a bad picture, send it off, look at 3 more, try to get another one.
And
And then
because,
she's just all about the wind in general.
yeah,
She's got like manipulation of the wind, so bounce a guy. Weiss Schwartz has a wind trigger that bounces guys.
yeah, she's camera, and then she takes a second, like, blurrier shot as she's blasting the guy out of the stratosphere.
Yeah, there's like a whole sub series of games where you play as Aya, and instead of shooting bullets at characters, they shoot bullets at you while you try to take pictures of the character.
Touhou snap.
Yeah,
Touhou snap.
they're really difficult,
Hmm.
but they're like kind of fun because it's instead of like you lose, now you go all the way back to the beginning of the game. It's like you attempt a spell, you start it. If you lose, instantly just restart it. It's less of like a long sit down game and more of something that you can play in like short bursts, but you still get all of like the excitement from the regular games. The Aya games are really fun. And at one point, she might still be. She is like the creator's favorite character.
Oh, okay. Huh. She's the Rohan Kishibe.
Hmm.
Neat. All right.
We have another cooler Reimu.
The cooler ring would be like, this is Ramu, the Shrine Maiden of Paradise. When this card is placed on the stage in your hand, if you have another fantasy character, you may put the top card of your clock in your waiting room. This card gets 3,500 power and hex proof until the end of your opponent's next turn. Keep in mind, she is base 7,500, but on play, she just goes up to 11 and is swinging at 12 with her climax. Speaking of her
Yep.
climax, when she attacks, if you have Innate Dream, which is the name of her stand, in your climax area, and another copy of herself is in your level, you may pitch a card. If you do, deal 1 damage to your opponent. Choose one of your opponent's characters. That card cannot stand during your opponent's next stand phase. And this card gets the following 2 abilities at the end of your opponent's next turn. During this card's battle, you cannot receive damage from the auto effects of your opponent's characters. And during your opponent's turn, this card cannot become reversed.
Yes, I did change it. I did change that last bit since you last read this card. I figured that your opponent probably should be allowed to reverse it on your turn.
Yeah, give him a backup
It
window.
shouldn't just be unkillable on attack. Or what's the point of even giving it power, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
It should just have. It could have 1 power, and it wouldn't matter. This card is really cool. So Reimu's like ability is that she can float, and that's how she flies around and solves mysteries with the gang. But like, it also works like on a more like a metaphorically sort of deal. Like in addition to just being able to physically float around, she can also like float out of reality and like just kind of remain intangible for an indefinite amount of time. To the point that Marsa, her friend, had to like give a time limit to how long she can do that, or else because like they spar, and like it would be impossible to beat Reimu if she could just indefinitely like be unbeatable.
Yeah.
So like Touhou works on like a spell card system where instead of actually like fighting to the death, they just fight with like spell cards that they've created or like bullet patterns. This is Reimu's like last word spell or her like her strongest spell card. You can play against it in Imperishable Night in the last word, call selection of the spell cards.
Yeah.
And you cannot shoot her. You literally have to just wait like 60 seconds while she destrolishes you,
That's true.
and you only like clear the spell if you can like survive 60 seconds.
Kind of like,
She's going intangible, and that's why you have to have a copy of her in level zone. Because what else is floating outside of reality if not inside the level zone?
yeah. So we talked a little bit about before we even were talking about this. Like I brought up the ear from the No Patience version, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this actually kind of reminds me of one of my Toto cards." And he showed this. It's like, "Oh yeah, I can see you." Wait a minute. And it was like with every passing second, it's like there's like 1 or 2 things these 2 cards definitely have in common, which is the whole like blocking damage effect. But then outside of that, it's like, oh wait, these cards are running on very different batteries. Other than that, this card just kind of does like a lot of different things. Yeah, it just has a lot of like little things going on, and the things that it doesn't do are like kind of weirdly notable because of that, right? Like the during this card's battle, you cannot receive damage from the auto effects of your opponent's characters, meaning that main phase or like climax phase burn and whatever, you can still get the ruby burn off, right? Like you don't get the clock kick, obviously, but you still get that burn three,
Yeah.
which in like in that matchup, like take what you can get as the ruby player for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just like little, it's like the little details that you start like poking at to try to find like kinks in this chinks in this thing's armor, and then it's like, oh, but no, this card is still just really good. Yeah,
Yeah, this card's really cool. It like works in all of like Reimu's shenanigans.
yeah.
Cause like, float out of reality and seal things. Cause she is a shrine maiden. And that's why your opponent's character is stuck rested. They're sealed for a turn. Oh, you can be really annoying if your opponent like has a finisher out because they tried to kill you last turn, but failed. You can just like play this downside a character that would otherwise be bigger than this and like lock down their finishers so that they're forced to
Yeah.
like you can be a little shithead with this.
Yeah.
I think this is more balanced than the first time I had this because it used to just be it couldn't ever become reversed, and now you actually do have to put some thought into it. And you know what? That's kind of intentional. There's an Aya level support that works quite well with this.
Hmm.
Aya does assist Reimu in one of the games, so you know what? It makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, time. We gave an A plus to that card. Time to get an S to this one. And let me just here. I got you. All right. We have Vermilius Scarlet, the Scarlet Devil. If Sake Izayoi, Maid of the Vampire, is in your clock, this card gets -1 level while in your hand. And then when she's placed on stage from hand, choose up to one character with a level equal to or lower than your level in your hand, put it on any position of the stage, and this card gets plus 2,000 power until end of turn. When this card attacks, if you have her door climax in the CX area, and you have 4 more other fantasy characters, you may pay the cost. If you do, deal 1 damage to your opponent, choose a character in your waiting room, return it to your hand.
Now I know what you're thinking, viewer. This feels a lot like the Hololive Hachima combo. Because that's what I said when I looked at this card. And indeed, it has some similarities. Unfortunately, the places it's not similar are the places where this card just becomes kind of turbo cracked.
Yeah. Obviously, burning your opponent at level 2 is good because level 2 is where like decks will try to stabilize and get ready for their level 3. So having that extra like rush ability to just like send your opponent to a level 3 they're not ready for is good. Adding cards from your waiting room to your hand is good. You can like grab shit like the Medicine Melancholy counter. You might notice that this card gets -1 level in your hand. You might also notice that it lets you play a character with a level equal to or lower than your level in your hand. So the play pattern of this becomes clock Sakuya, draw 2 cards, play Remilia, play Remilia, play Remilia, and then you play this other cool Remilia level 2 that has a climax combo with the same climax, and it gives all of this Remilia lifesteal. So if you salvage a character, and you decide you don't like it, you just throw it away to heal. So let's look at the other Remilia real quick so we can evaluate this package. The other one, it gives global 1500 power and good clock encore to the level 3 Remilia. Clock and SDM character to the bottom of your clock. So it's not global trade, at least. You do have to be like kind of invested into SDM. If you have her door climax in play, all of the other level 3 Remilias get once per turn when damage is not cancelled, discard 1, heal 1. Because she is a vampire. Also, this art on the level 3 just looks like the art that would be on like a cracked level 3 card.
Oh yeah, no, this is absolutely red double rare combo art for sure. Kind of the same
Yeah.
way that Thorium Moose clearly was. It's just like, man, this is like, God. There's several of these characters where it's just like you look at the art for them, it's like, my God, it's gorgeous, and then you think about the character, and you're like, but I don't want to like be trying to like compliment them about being like waifu looking characters or whatever. It's like, oh no, this is a dark path we're going on.
Oh yeah.
But
Like this
yeah,
is this is like official Remilia art.
yeah,
Like, you can't, like what is she looks like a potato.
yeah.
Zen's artwork has gotten better with time, and
Oh
Remilia
yeah,
is a fairly like old character.
yeah.
So newer Remilia looks pretty good, but this is what we were dealing with in 2004.
back in the day.
2002, whatever the hell year it was.
And even then, like people were still. I feel like people have been doing kind of like cracked Touhou art for like the longest time.
Oh yeah, the Gooners have been going full speed since day one.
Yeah, and like the Scarlet Devil Mansion crew were like part of that like earlier wave of Touhou games too. So
Yeah,
like they've
because
been
they're
around
so
for a
old
long time.
now, and there's so many like memes associated with them. All the Scarlet Devil Mansion crew is like insanely popular
Yeah,
relative to their like appearance rate.
yeah, for real.
Remilia is pretty cool though. She's a little vampire. I can get down with that. We have Shinobu. She's another little vampire.
Yeah.
Good character trait. I guess the only issue with this entire package is that you aren't like ever gaining stock after you play the Remilias down, unless you're just like not attacking or not burning. But the first crew of them only costed 2 stock,
Yeah. So like
so you're
if
probably trying to like gain as much stock as possible early on, so you have like an amount to sit on. But other than that, I feel like this is crazy. It's susceptible to anti-change, but like whatever, you can still side burn one.
yeah, you can make it work. Sure.
Oh, and you get 1 lane of anti-backup on the turn that you play these because Sakuya alarm.
Just pick the one thing you absolutely need to kill, and then you gotta worry about the backups. You worry about the backups.
And then yeah,
It's
I'm
fairly
rating this
simple.
other one like an A because obviously
Yeah.
you only play it with the other one because it has no effect otherwise. But it's such a good assist.
Yeah, and I mean it's
And you can like be like a shithead and like clock encore Asakia back to your clock and go again.
yeah.
And then just heal off what you clock encored with. You can just play 3 of these things, heal 3 every turn, clock encore them back if
Yeah.
you want.
Loop. Heal damage,
It's
heal
pretty
damage.
silly.
Yeah, it's like it's a combo that hypothetically gets you a lot of resources as you play it, but actually resolving the combo and everything that it does is like super neutral ultimately.
Yeah.
It's so strange, but it works.
Keep in mind I've never played this by the way. Like
Yeah,
so
this
it's
is
entirely possible someone puts together this deck and they're like, it's fine.
yeah,
It was
like
nothing special.
yeah, I really did think that the Turbo Marisa build turned out a little better.
Herbo Marisa.
Just like the build an obscene amount of stock on like double or triple Mars.
Oh sure. And then just delete your opponent from like
Yeah,
2-1.
just like it's
Absolutely.
over.
But this is like a very like normal game plan. Like play your level 1 combo, get your Amelias,
Hold the
clock a
fort.
guy and go.
It just hold down the fort for the rest of the game. Just
Now, you know what? I'm sure this would eventually receive a restriction in Japanese format
oh, JP, yeah.
because if this ended up actually being cracked, Japanese tournaments would devolve into people playing 3 Remilias and siding the other players 3 Remilias
Oh
and healing
no!
3.
No!
And then the other guy does the same thing.
No! Oh god!
It would probably extend the length of tournaments
It's
due to like Remilia
hard.
mirror matches
Yeah,
taking forever.
yeah. You know what? It would actually just get like some kind of hit just because it's taking too long. Not even just like a
It's like
power move.
Kimono Friends, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, bro, we can't keep doing this. That's funny.
Yeah, they don't like super like game extender stuff.
Wait, hold on. Are you telling me if you had two of these and you had hand to burn, you could just like heal six?
Yes, I'm telling you that right now.
My God. All right.
Okay, but you do lose your entire hand by doing that. You can do it, and it's funny, but your hand is gone.
Yep.
It is no hand November.
No hand Haribo. All right.
Yeah, you do no hand November, and then Flander does destroy deck December.
Yeah. It's
It's a
perfectly
smooth game plan.
balanced. Yeah.
Exactly.
Scale fiction.
Oh, you know what's really funny?
But
Um, okay, it's like pointless actually, but like theoretically, you could like play down a Flander, sack Remilia, do the Flander effect, and then clock encore the Remilia, play another Flander, and do it again, and you don't like lose resources by doing it. I don't think it
uh
matters because like your Remilia is probably better to keep around, but it's like funny that you can do that to hold hand.
I mean like yeah. Oh. All right. Maybe less funny. It's just this cutie right here. This is patchouli knowledge. A great library. Your events can be played from your hand without fulfilling color requirements. In your climax area, give one of your fantasy characters power equal to the number of colors in your level times 500. Maybe that should say experience, come to think of it.
You're probably right.
And also, Brainstorm, Rest 2, Flip 5, Salvage Character, not trait
Yeah.
restricted.
This is like your generic brainstorm. If you opted to like go the route of play good cards and not like care about archetypes,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good generic brainstorm.
You know, I have never seen. Most of the rest brainstorm is just like two of your guys, but you have two of your traded guys.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I think that might help you out with a budget. With budget, maybe.
Is that gonna bump her to 1,000?
No, I think that keeps you at 500 because like
Oh, okay.
the flip five brainstorm, like a flip five salvage brainstorm is like 2K by itself. Then the rest two puts you down to 15, and that I think gets you down to like a K. The event colorless thing is 500. I don't know about the experience thing. I think that may or may not sit you at 500, 1K.
What's a traded search brainstorm? Is that 1,000?
Search trait and salvage any are equal.
Oh.
Salvage trait is less expensive,
Ooh, okay.
and search
Sounds good.
any they don't print
Hmm.
for reasons. Yeah, this card seems really solid to me.
And then Pacholi, she can like use every kind of magic, but not very well because she has asthma.
Yeah.
So she loses the ability to start to like recite spells after fighting for too long.
She cool. Oh, I look at her and I just think like, especially with this art, I just think kind of cute. Even outside of that, I just think of like it's like standoffish library girl. It's like
Hmm.
like no, stop bothering me. I don't want to go to your fucking tea party. And then that's actually all right. We didn't talk about this last time, but like so one of the reasons that I didn't ever get into Lost World
Yeah.
was that my super into Touhou friend was like, "Hey man, so like the characterization here is kind of majorly off." It's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, just look at this interaction with between Alice and Patchouli. It's like, oh, I see. They've turned them into like gotcha characters. Oh, well, that's tragic.
Yeah.
Trade offs.
I like doing my free rolls every day. I barely even actually play the game.
That's fair."
But I do have the cool Marissa with the motorcycle, so I'm incentivized to keep like playing it.
God, who was it that has the fucking like traffic cone?
The traffic cone.
There's one of them that has like a traffic cone, like as part of their outfit. I remember seeing the banner advertised on fucking Game Press when I was using that for like Arknights information, which I no longer
Hmm.
do because Game Press is Game Press.
I bet you if I look up lost word traffic cone. Let's
Yes,
see.
I
Does
said
Dan
lost.
Brew know what we're talking about? Nah, they don't know. Dang.
I'm gonna find that and show the audience just because
I
like it's
have
so
no idea who
goofy.
you're referring to.
It's like some kind of like safety inspection thing from like a. It's just like she had like a traffic cone with her. It's like, what is this? I think she was wearing it as like a hat.
Oh my god, I have no idea who you're referring to.
I feel like it might have been a Yomu. That's the name that's sticking to me. Is like like green girl. It feels like Yomu, but I don't know. Yeah, the
Relevant Patchouli is an SDM character, but you probably don't play her in the SDM deck because there's like a brainstorm specifically for that one.
yeah, she's more
But
fun.
maybe you do because she's red. I don't know. You can play whatever brainstorm you want. I'm
Yeah,
not your dad.
yeah, she does definitely fit a little bit better into the magic setup. Actually, okay, right. What was the intended use for the colorless events then?
Hmm. Oh, you can play grays in Magic, which
Okay,
otherwise isn't really playing red.
except to me, it's like 3 color condition probably.
Because like you play yellow for Mersa, you play blue for Alice, and then you're either playing green, which you probably aren't, or you're playing red, which you're probably playing minimal of.
Yeah, just enough to get
Oh,
that.
so I don't know. Play whatever you want.
Yeah.
If you miss red because you leveled green for some reason, you can still play grays from your hand.
Hmm.
Or maybe it's for set two.
Maybe it's for set two.
Who knows?
But Julie gets a combo.
Well, I'll make a purple event.
Yes!
Then you can play it from your hand without
Yeah.
pulling color.
And then she gets a combo. She's like a level 1 combo that's like a back row, but it's a purple, but it has a colorless if you have red. Here's that up.
I want to keep purple to a minimum though. I want it to be like a spicy little treat. I don't want it to become something you get too accustomed to. Well, we'll see purple. We got Hong Mei Ling, Chinese girl. When your other fantasy character attacks, she gets plus X power until end of turn. X is equal to the number of your fantasy characters you have times 500. So if you attack twice with a full board, gets up to 6k, which is like actually a pretty respectable amount, and is able to contend with level ones.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool that this card like has use later into the game too. And then she's just when your other character is attacked, you can pay the cost, pay one, sack her to return that other character to your hand. And she's like the guard of the Scarlet Devil Mansion. Kind of funny, you can play this with the Sakia level 1 combo since that's the card that you'd be clocking to play Remilia. So you can play this alongside it and then use it to bounce Sakia back to your hand.
Oh my god.
So you can then clock it for Remilia.
Oh my god.
It's a funny interaction that I didn't even think about until like after making it. And also mailing is a SDM trait, so you can clock her for Remilia.
Yeah, that is sick. And she puts herself in the waiting room as well for the setup for that. That's super sick.
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact that Zune just made her title Chinese girl, man.
It's like kind of funny, right? Before the games had official like romanization, no one could agree on how to pronounce Hong's name. They couldn't decide if it was the Chinese pronunciation or the Japanese pronunciation.
Oh.
So fans on like 2chan were like, "Oh, let's just call her China." So people just started calling her China instead of like using her name. And one of her like victory quotes in Touhou 13 12.13, no, 12.3, when she wins is she just tells the other character, "Please remember my name." So it's like referenced in canon. It's pretty funny.
Gold. Oh man. All right. Moving on. I feel like this card got called out. Was it this card or a different one? Maybe it's a
This
different
card was called out when I was telling you about this before.
one. All right. So this is Momiji Inubashi Patrol Tengu. She's not a bird, but she is still a Tengu.
Hmm.
During the turn this card is placed on the stage from your hand, if this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you may put top card of your deck in your clock and rest when extending fantasy characters to search your deck for a fantasy character, reveal it to your opponent, put in your hand, shuffle your deck.
Yeah, so she's like a level 0 Yuko, but instead of paying one and resting a character, you're clocking one resting a character. So it's like an interesting, like no stock Ricky that requires you to get a reverse. And 2500 is enough that you can probably get reverses against a lot of decks.
Yeah.
This is one of the few cards to have made the transition from my original 2017 set to this one because I
Survive.
think she's neat.
I'm pretty sure the Bang Dream 2500 Accelerate guide is just if this is in center stage, you can go searching after you accelerate. I'm trying to remember. I don't.
Is it, that one's probably accelerate then discard one.
Yeah, that was that was what I was thinking. That probably does discard. This card, despite being in red, does not have accelerate because it's not running the moon logic. But
That's right.
but if it did, it could it would probably just immediately go into that deck as like another kind of turbo crack option in your board.
You wouldn't have access to the Aaron though at that point in the game,
True.
so it wouldn't be like that insane.
Yeah.
Well, it would trigger the Toei, which is kind of nuts actually.
Yeah.
Oh, but if you use the effect, you wouldn't be able to use Toei. So actually, it doesn't matter because this has to rest a character, and Toei needs to rest herself for her effect.
So you need to have like a third character to
You'd
rest.
have to have a third character to rest. Yeah, it would get a little weird.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That's enough about Momiji. She's a cool dog. She doesn't have any dialogue, unfortunately. So who
Yeah.
knows what she's really thinking?
I was thinking about crepes.
Grapes or crepes?
Crepes.
Okay.
I don't know about grapes. I don't think grapes and dogs are the best combination necessarily.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. This is a cat though. This is not a dog.
Yeah. What are you talking about? There ain't no dogs here. He's a chip.
She's the black cat of bad omens. She is a dork. She's Ran's familiar. So Ran is Yukari's familiar, and Chen is Ran's familiar.
Yeah,
Um,
she's a familiar
that
familiar.
speaks. It's like already insane. So like, it's like considered insane to have one to begin with. But the fact that Yukari has one that has one is like considered like turbo cracked and kind of just speaks to how broken Yukari is.
Yeah.
During your turn, she gets 3,000 power, so she's a 106k on your turn. Oh, and she's got a soul trigger. Can't forget that. When she attacks, if you have her door climax and you have 2 or more other characters, look at up to 3 cards on the top of your deck, choose a fantasy character from among them, reveal it to your opponent, put it in your hand, put the rest in the waiting room, and you may pay the cost. If you do, during that attack, Twin Drive. It is pretty much just the Arya combo from D-side, but with a soul trigger on it. And that's because you're playing choices for Ran, and Ran needs to be able to grab Chen.
Just imagine a world where this is the choice combo and the ran is the door.
Oh, and Chen's got Link on her door climax, which will become relevant in blue.
Yep. For now, it is just kind of an important note.
Yes.
But yeah, like this.
I know the combo's good because I've played it a lot. And door is good.
Yeah.
So the combo is probably pretty good.
Yeah, and that's the best part. Like, even with that link on it, this one isn't necessarily archetype locked because everything about it is super generic. It's not like she needs the brainstorm or anything anywhere. So, like,
Right.
you can just play this as a door combo based on whatever. We're not like Hololive or anything where it's like, oh, just having door trigger makes your combo much more potentially like usable, like because it enables like some like 8 door bullshit or whatever. Like this is just
Mm-hmm.
good. But in a deck where you're running like 3 different plussing trigger lineups, the door being like your 4 of, super solid. I mean, just look at her. Look how cute she is.
Yeah, Chen is very cute. She's just a little cat. She's got like the brain of like an 8-year-old. So like she's not even like the classic 2,000-year-old dragon. No, she's actually just like like a small child.
She's just a cat. She's a kitty cat.
Yeah, she's cute.
Yeah,
We like
that's it.
We like Chen, and Ran acts like a mom for her. It's very cute.
Because she takes care of her familiar. Alright, less familiar.
Banui.
This is Banui. This is Grayson with the lunatic red eyes. When this card is placed on stage your hand, this card gets 1,500 drawn end of turn. Then she is an accelerate fantasy character from when you earn a bottom clock. When her door is placed on a climax area, you can pay that cost. If you do, this card gets the following ability to end of turn. When this card attacks, choose one of your fantasy characters in your waiting room. Your hand, put the top card of your deck into your stock. I just noticed the corner, the easy mode meme.
Yeah, Maji, easy modo. Hidoi. That's a classic. That's from a very old Touhou meme called "Stops at the affected area and immediately resolves." I was right. Lunatic Udongen is the entire name of it. And yeah, you get to see them saying, easy modo, hidoi. And it's funny. The card is actually like just kind of okay. It's Chloe, but instead of resonating, you have to clock yourself. Fortunately, there is a 1/1 that handles half of the clocking for you.
True.
It's all right.
Yeah. I mean, Chloe's
It's not like the best combo in the set, but like Banui is like kind of funny.
yeah, the fact that
It's not the worst clock yourself combo I've ever seen.
yeah, the fact that it's accelerate instead of resonate, I think definitely tones it down substantially.
Chloe is kind of a
Chloe's really
mistake.
good. Yeah.
So you know what? It's fine.
Probably
Oh,
don't.
this one can't whiff, by the way. Chloe can like whiff her stock charge. At least you can't whiff your stock charge here.
Yeah, it's just that
So
it's
you know exactly how many cards you need in your deck going into attack phase.
yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Alright, let's look at the next one. The next one's pretty cool.
God.
Shinki, the God of Makai. 3/2, 9,500, 2 experience abilities. On play, if your level has 3 or more colors, you may deal 1 damage to your opponent. So it's playing into like the magic strategy. Continuous, if your level has 3 or more colors, she gets 1,500 power, so she sits at 11k. And the following ability: Act, put her into your memory. Choose one of your opponent's characters, put that into their memory. So Shinki appears in Touhou 5, where she's like letting the residents of Makai like fuck around in Gensokyo. So the protagonists go and confront her and end up pretty much killing her and like destroying Makai along with it. So she is like kind of an important character from the original series because she's like the last like boss to not ever be seen again.
Hmm.
Yeah, she burns 1 on play. That's pretty cool. She's really good for Marsa. Like this card's really good for the Marsa level 3
Yeah.
because it also clears lane, so your Marsa can't be removed. It's one of those funny cards that Bushiroad has started printing where they start just writing events, but then like putting traits on them so you can salvage them or search them or whatever.
That's
This
so
is basically
interesting.
just a 3-2 event that says burn one, put one of your opponent's characters into memory, which is like fine. Actually, like I think as an event it would be costed lower than that. That would probably be like a 3-1. But it's neat. And I think that like Shinky is pretty cool. One of her like iconic spell cards was given to Byakuren. Like Byakuren just has like a spell called like Devil's Recitation, and she just straight up like copies one of Shinky's attacks. And you
Yeah.
encounter Byakuren in Hokai, which is like the corner of Makai, which is where you fought Shinky. So even though Shinky never comes back, like Byakuren references her, which is just like a weird, like cool thing that's never actually explained.
Yeah. Totally.
I
Yeah.
like Shinky. I think she's cute. She's got like, she's supposed to look like really foreboding, but she's got like that little like hair tuft like tied up at the top,
Yeah.
and that just looks like really cute.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of hard to like take her seriously as like this like devil god.
Yeah, she's got this kind of like this vibe of like a fucking stained glass window, right? But this
Yeah,
art specifically, just like, yeah,
yeah. I thought this art was like really cool. I had to use it for. She doesn't have like a whole lot of art, so I had to find something cool. But it's pretty good. You can play like a copy of it in any deck. Well, probably not be. Probably not steaming. You can play a copy of it in any deck. Search will burn one on play.
yeah, easy
Three
reinforced
colors and
recipe.
level. It's probably easy enough for like most decks.
Yeah, yeah. So like, if it's not, well, guess what? You have an easy red level 3 to throw in to cover your experience number and your color.
There you go.
Right?
Next we got bird.
Oh man.
Another bird.
Behold the nuclear reactor, Touhou Ryoji, Hell's artificial sun. Da 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 da. If this card is in your center stage, all your fantasy characters get plus 1500. So, or one standby, by the way, so that or not having an on play level 3 effect is intentional. When this card attacks, choose up to 4 of your fantasy characters, but don't know if this card has markers. Wait, oh, there's no pay cost on this right now.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, you just do it for free. That's so good. Well,
So,
I told you I was gonna buff it.
alright. When this card attacks, you may pay the cost if you do. Choose up to 4 of your fantasy characters, put them underneath this card as markers, put all the markers underneath this card in your waiting room, and deal X damage to your opponent, where X is equal to the number of markers put into your waiting room. That's effect normal. Yeah. And then
That
also,
last part was right, right? You stopped like something was wrong.
I mean, you could probably put like by that's a effect or whatever, but I don't think it's particularly necessary. I don't know. Hard to say. Hard to like.
I don't think there are any other markers that would be able to go to waiting room during that check timing, but you might be right. I'll look it up because this effect, something similar to it, does exist in English in Review Starlight, so I can just reference that.
Yeah, the green glow,
Yeah.
which has shown up on this as of last episode actually, because we or last series because in No Patience we had the ASCII level 3. I needed
Oh,
to
that's
talk
right.
about
With
markers.
what 5 or 6 cards that it referenced.
Every ASCII in existence. So like,
So many of them.
yeah,
Very many cards.
only more on the way. Thank God. ASCII needs all the cards you can get. But yeah, at the beginning of your encore step, if you're playing the Touhou card game and you have this card, and you have the Subterranean Sun in your climax area, and you have 6 or less cards in your hand, you may pay 2, ditch 1, burn 2.
So this card has been very slightly buffed, as you saw before. It was a little too buffed. You do have to pay the cost now. That being paid to Digic Fantasy character. The flavor here is supposed to be that like Utsuho is like a nuclear reactor. And, she's burning up your other characters for fuel. So you get 2 instances of damage. They are kind of expensive, but like hopefully you're able to get at least one of these for free. Kind of cool. This doesn't have to be in your front row. So if you stand by extra copies of this, you can just resolve them during encore step. And then what else? Oh yeah, there's a level 1 that supports this card. Actually, let's drag that up. Let's look at that one next after this.
Okay.
Um cuz hypothetically, if this card had markers under it already, you wouldn't even need to choose any of your characters to put underneath it as a marker.
Oh.
Um let's look at the next card real quick, just so we have an idea of what we're talking about here.
This is Rain Cannonball Hill's traffic accident. During your turn, all of your fantasy characters get 1,000 power. Continuous, all players cannot use Encore. No Encore allowed. You're not doing it. Act, restless card. Choose one of your fantasy characters. That character gets 1,000 power till end of turn. Choose one of your Uso or Ryoji Hell's artificial son. Choose one fantasy character in your waiting room and put it underneath that card as a marker. I like this. This
Yeah, so
really
Rin collects the spirits and then brings them to Ryuji for like burning for fuel for new hell, which is different from old hell.
Hmm.
And so the flavor here is you can't encore your character because Rin's carrying them away in her little cart.
Whee!
And then you can choose a Ryuji, choose a character, and put it underneath her for fuel, so she can get fuel without having to burn up your other characters.
Man,
I
carry
thought
that
this was a pretty
horse.
cute, flavorful interaction between these two cards, and it makes Ryuji a little better.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, this really does help out quite a bit.
Okay, this card is now actually like feasible to resolve in
Yeah,
multiples. It is a standby combo. Unfortunately, it's the only one. Hypothetically, in an 8 standby deck, though, I think this card is actually cracked now
yeah,
because it's like reasonably cheap. Well, not reasonably cheap. It is expensive, but
yeah.
it's like a decent finisher for being on standby.
Yeah, I think right now you really just need to find a combo to like get your stock up to make this like live up to the potential. So like
Right.
picking with like literally the most like stock generating combo in this set and sticking it
Yeah,
on
you
with
take
it.
the Utaha from you're saying in the set currently. Well, it's probably just like Kane Kane win standby.
Yeah,
That's an unhinged climax lineup.
yeah, I like it. I like it. All right. Yeah. As it is now, it's definitely gotten
It's definitely
substantially
much
better.
better. I think it was a C before. We've evolved into a B now.
Yeah, I think it's
And then
still.
like how expensive I need to like think about it actually because this is like weird timings and like how much stock it costs because that depends on like standbys and shit.
Hmm. Yeah, you get into some weird shit with this. And the like how to price like the combo because like the combo itself is like pay two, pitch one, burn two if you meet a condition. Beginning of your encore step. It's like on the one hand, yes, it is back row, and having back row burn is like cracked as hell when it comes to like a lot of things. But on the other hand, like that's really
Well,
expensive.
you have to take that one up with Bushy Road because that entire third effect is word for word copied from like two other cards.
They've done this twice.
Yeah,
Bushiroad, what are you doing?
Nijigasaki has it, and I think something quite recently got it. Oh, a card in Ayakashi Triangle, I think has it.
Isn't that the one that gives the effect to the other?
Oh, does it? I thought it gave it to it like other named copies of itself.
No, no, it gives it
Oh no, it
to
gives
a
it to the
different name.
Matsuri. Well, it's the
Yeah.
same cost at least. It is pay two, ditch one, start of encore, burn two.
Huh. Okay. So they
So
do.
they seem to be onto something here.
Maybe you don't need the hand limit? Bet you thought Editor J3 wasn't going to make an appearance, huh? So here's the scoop. A normal on attack burn 2 is equal to pay 2, pitch 2, as shown with this bay. What the Yuki combo does is drop the attack requirement in a discard and then replaces those requirements with a CX requirement, an encore step timing, and the 6 or less hand condition, which is a 1.25x condition equivalent to another character. If this Ichika had Ayame's condition without requiring a specific trait, it'd be the same thing. Basically, on attack discard 1 is equal to CX combo during Encore step with a 1.25x condition on it. I don't really have the bandwidth as I'm editing this to go through the full implications of this, but suffice to say it's fascinating technology to have in one's pocket. Shoutouts to Spyro for correcting me on this. I assumed it was a 1.5x condition at first. Past me, I hope this was a satisfactory explanation of why the 6 or less hand condition is actually necessary. Alright, let's get back to the show.
It's like weird. Every time they put that 6 or less cards hand restriction onto anything, I always think it's like the weirdest thing.
Oh, it's so weird. It's just like well, we need something. And then they put it on like the most randomly cracked shit because it's like, oh yeah, well, Gura has
Like
this.
Gura.
And it's
Yeah,
like,
why does
brother,
Gura have
brother, that ain't
it?
right, fam. Why would you give this to a shark? The shark didn't need this as a
Yeah,
condition. Put an
Gura should have
actual
had like an
condition.
actual. She could have had an actual condition that would have been still good.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not even talking about Utsuho anymore. Utsuho's good. Rin's good. Even if you're not even playing Utsuho, you can play Rin because it's like a funny like floodgate,
Yeah.
and it's red. If you're in red, why not? It's like power pump. 2 instances of power pump, pretty good.
Oh yeah, that was 2K. That's fair. I'll leave it at plain C though. I do like this, and I do like the all players can I use Encore because I need it for another
Right.
set. Just need to
Oh,
figure out
that's
where to put
correct. You need to call out when you play Rin from your hand. You have to remind the entire store.
it.
Attention, all players. All
Attention.
players cannot use Encore.
And
Oh,
KNPO
come
has
on. This is round 3, and he does this every time.
but you were able to encore while his game was at level 0. So you had a window and you didn't choose to take advantage of it. That's on you.
Yeah, that's right.
It's for
No,
another
Rin's
character
good.
named
Utsuho's
Rin.
good. That's good. I'm happy to see that Utsuho's better because I think Utsuho's a really cool character, and like she deserves to have like a big explosive finisher of some kind.
Oh yeah, he does.
It's just a matter of affording it right now.
Yeah. Speaking of characters that don't need big explosions,
It's a bun, a
yep,
bunui.
Nui.
We have Tei and Naba. You don't read it as Tewi because we doesn't exist anymore, but she's old as fuck, so her name still has it. She's an Earth Rabbit. When you play a climax in your climax area, you may pay 1. If you do, look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose a fantasy character, reveal its opponent, put it in your hand. It's like, the most generic, free plus, not free, but generic plus whenever you play a climax. When you use an accelerate ability, you can rest her and another fantasy character from standing to blind stock 1. Oh, that changes the math on Kaguya. Interesting. So I think that means
Yeah.
it's 9 stock to triple Kaguya and stock swap. Okay, that's cool. What you can do with this is like you can like play the climax down with Raisin. Instead of like going for triple Raisin every game, you can just go for double. You'll get a heal eventually off of it anyways.
Yeah.
And then you get the free plus and stock from this card. This card takes the place of like the archetype brainstorm for the Moon gang.
Yeah.
And Tei herself is not Moon because she's an Earth Rabbit.
Yeah, she just happened to kind of like fit into a slot in their lives.
Yeah, she just hangs out with them in Ante. And
It's
she bullies Raisin. It's really funny. You can read Inaba of the Earth and Inaba of the Moon if you want to read their 4 adventure.
yeah. There's some goofy
Oops.
shit. Yeah, it's
Tei is like 2,000 years old, by the way, in like the body of a small.
yeah. She
Very
definitely
funny stuff.
behaves that way. There's something. I feel like that one change to the Kage definitely has improved this card standing as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that's
Even like
very
even
neat.
if you only have 6 stock, you can now resolve triple Kaguya because this refunds a stock for you, so you can resolve them
Yeah,
all.
that's awesome. All right,
Kaguya fans are eating good.
please eat well, Kaguya fans, for your health.
We're worried about you. Please make sure that you're keeping up with your intake.
Please, the nutrients.
Yes, the nutriments.
All right. Well, this here is our Moon
Another
Rabbit.
Banui.
This is Raisin back again. Her full name, Raisin Dongyen Inaba, the Moon Rabbit. At the beginning of your climax phase, this card is in your center stage. You may put the top card of your deck into your clock. If you do, choose one of your opponent's cost 0 or lower characters in their center stage, put it in their stock, and put the bottom card of your opponent's stock into their waiting room.
He
She's
shoots you with a gun.
pow. Finger guns.
Yeah, this used to not be in center stage, and that change was made so that you can't just park this thing in your back row and shoot one of your opponent's characters every turn.
And get the free
Not that I
accelerate.
think that would be broken, just that I don't think that sounds like a very good time for anyone.
Well, I mean, because what you do, right, is that you get that and you have a Tewi, and so the Raisin triggers the Tewi every turn, so you don't even need to, like, combo to get the stock up.
Yeah, you're right. This is like find a dude's ear. It's really funny. Your opponent like plays their Aqua in the middle, and you just fucking shoot her. Just blam.
And that's why she's doing a sort of a yellow bomb effect, because she's using a gun, and everyone knows shot trigger is a yellow
Right.
effect.
Guns are yellow. That's just how the world works.
Just the
So I
way
don't make
life
the
is.
rules.
Yeah, it's a mystery why a Blue Archive isn't just an all yellow set, man. Like, that was a real flavor fail there. They've been all shots all the time.
Blue Archive should have been entirely blue and red to match the police lights as they pull up to your apartment.
Accurate.
I'm not sorry to all the Blue Archive players out there. You've kind of brought this onto yourself.
When have you learn your actions
Look, we
have
got Sega.
consequences?
Sega. We got Sega Kaku, Wicked Hermit. Continuous. All of your other Yoshika Miyako, loyal and dead, get 1000 power and the following ability. During this card's battle, your opponent cannot play events or backups from their hand. And then when this card is placed on stage from hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, spot a cost 0 or lower fantasy character in your waiting room, put it on any position of the stage, and put that character into memory at the end of your turn. So it is a Ramorous that also buffs this 2/0 Yoshika Miyako. And it just so happens that the way Ramorous is worded, you can spawn 2 zeros. There's no rule against it.
Bushiroad cannot stop you.
Without even getting into the Yoshika, this card's already good. We know that spawning guys and then putting them in memory is a decent ability. And the Yoshika is like kind of good. It's like kind of cracked actually. We should probably look at that one too to like fully evaluate this. Do you want to read Yoshika?
So this is Yoshika Miyako, loyal undead. You shall become one of our companions. By the Danmaku awakened from a deep sleep. Please go to sleep. She's asking you very nicely. During your turn, this card gets 1000 power for each of your other fantasy characters. Well, this card becomes reversed if you don't have another copy of her in your memory. Put her in your memory. At the beginning of your climax phase, if your level is 2 or higher and this card is in your memory, you pay the cost to put this card on an open position of your stage. The Jiangshi hops back onto your board from your memory and is big.
Yep. She's big on turn. She probably takes something out and then fucks off for the cycle to repeat. This package is like really funny and it's like something I wanted to do since I first started like brainstorming like the effects that I was going to make for this. I'm really glad that I got to make it happen. So altogether, this is like really good. Yoshika comes out and kills something, and then goes to memory, and then you can just keep doing it every turn. Sega sets it up the first time for you, or is also just like summon your level 1 combo or do whatever you want. Ramorous is like a really good profile. So I'm gonna like rate both of these actually like quite highly. In game, Sega will you fight Yoshika in stage 3, and she's really annoying. She like keeps healing herself, which has never been revisited in a game after that, as far as I know, because it's really frustrating and it takes freaking forever to like actually kill her. And then you finally beat her, and then you go to stage 4, and Sega just starts reviving her over and over again. And so while you're fighting Sega, you have Yoshika creeping around on the screen, and Yoshika can like tank hits for the Sega. So that fight takes forever too. And everything involving both of them is just like horrible in the actual game, but it makes for like really good Weiss mechanics.
Yeah.
Because it means Sega can like bring back the Yoshika, and then the Yoshika keeps coming back. It's awesome. I love it.
This art.
Yoshika's a really funny card. She has no soul trigger, so she's allowed to be big.
Oh yeah. She's forgot that, yeah. Well, I mean, for a 2/0 it doesn't get the soul trigger for free either way, but yeah.
I think these are both really good. I'm actually gonna give Sega an A, even though we're past it just retroactively.
Oh, I may come back to this later anyways, because we have this meme off in this corner that was not discussed.
Oh yeah, that's a Necromantic. It's just like a bopping song, and it's a like Sega singing about how much she loves Yoshika even though she's dead. It's just like goofy as fuck. But the song's kind of a bop. Like it goes kind of hard. You the viewer can decide if you want to go listen to it or not, or just watch the video because the video itself is cool.
Yeah, this art on this Sega card, the circles that I go in, at least one of the
Yeah.
circles I'm in, being like the Hololive fanfic group. Like my God, this one would do numbers.
Oh yeah.
Like you turn this into like Ollie plus someone, like for the same vibe, of, like Necromancer and her zombie.
You could definitely just do like a trace over and put
Yeah,
whoever you want in that
you
same
legit
picture.
could. Oh man, and it would work. All right, speaking of things that work.
It's Aya, my beloved. She's back. And this time she's got alternative facts for us. I'll talk about that book in the corner in just a minute. So Aya is a 2/1 with a soul trigger, 1500 power, very small. She is a level assist to characters in front. And then you can rest her, choose one of your fantasy characters, and that character gains the following war crime until the end of the turn. 1000 power, and when its battle opponent becomes reversed, choose up to one of your opponent's level 2 or lower characters and return it to their hand. It's like one of those stock removal / clock removal / bottom deck removal, but this one is hand removal. And does not work on everything because Bushiroad, they also kind of do that sometimes where it's like level 2 or lower. And I decided that even though I like Aya a lot, she probably just should not be allowed to costlessly return level 3s to your opponent's hand every turn.
Probably not.
Oh, but it's still quite good, I think. You definitely would like play it with like Reimu or other red cards.
Yeah,
Kind of funny. Oh my god, you know what you can do with this? In the Remilia mirror match,
Oh god.
you can use this to bounce your opponent's Remilia Clock Encore.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I ain't hexproof at all.
Yeah.
The combo isn't hexproof either, right?
No. But the combo is level 3, so you wouldn't be able to just straight up remove that one.
So like, because she's a level 2 character, I don't think this effect requires her to get so small.
Oh, I just guessed. I'll be honest with you. I guessed. I like took the power of like one that was giving clock removal or something, or maybe it was like the Pecorin stock removal one. And I was like, yeah, we'll just like double that and it's probably good enough. I don't know. It's hard when like the thing doesn't actually exist
Yeah.
and there's no way to tell like what this would be costed at.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we have
But it's
like,
also like you said earlier, where the power of this card doesn't actually matter.
yeah, except because it's 1500, you've put it in range of things like being like killed by Yuyuko,
That's funny as fuck.
where like that wouldn't normally be a problem.
Oh, that's fine. If your opponent's Yuukoing you, power is probably not like at that point the power from this is probably not like all that relevant.
Maybe, maybe not. This is hilarious for me. Like, because on the one hand, I'm looking at this as like if this was all of your characters, if it didn't have the fantasy trait in front of it, I probably wouldn't actually have questioned it that much. But now I'm looking at it, it's like, wait a minute, hold on, that's only costing like 1k. This effect has to be worth like 6k. Like, oh god, which means that
I don't
becomes
know.
yeah. We can make her bigger. She can be larger. It's fine. Still, probably does some work. Like, like I've mentioned before, like hand removal is like super soft removal. It does have its place for stuff, but like,
Well, the major benefit of this is that you can remove things that you didn't even do battle with.
yeah,
So annoying back row. Oh man, like the what's it called? The Shauna anti-burn assist. Just get it out of
yeah.
there.
The fact that this hits back row is probably the thing that makes it like as expensive as it is, because you've got other effects that are super cheap that are like reverse an opponent, like just kill one of their center stage guys.
Yeah.
That's like a level 0 gets like the level 0 version for like 500 power. So like, yeah, the fact that it can hit either is probably what brings it up, but still not too crazy.
Also, I love Aya's like paperboy outfit.
There,
Sometimes she just be putting on like a tie and like this outfit instead of like her more like traditional Tengu.
yeah,
This is like when she goes to the human village and isn't trying to like immediately stand out.
she has got some strong EQ energy going here.
And this funny book on the side is like it's like Aya found a tabloid magazine that fell into Ginsokia from like the real world. And she's like, I'm gonna write one of these. And like it's just like it's like completely deranged. It's a really funny read if you ever want to read it. They talk about building a wall around the human village and making the yokai pay for it. It's like that kind of like deranged humor.
But they're
And
the
its
yokai.
focuses on Aya, and I like Aya.
Yeah. She's, wait, so the yokai are gonna put a wall around the human village and then
Dude,
have the other
it's like
yokai
word
pay
for
for
word.
it?
It's like word for word.
Oh
Like they're
my
not
god.
sending their best kind of shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Thanks, Aya.
Directly inspired by the current or the then current political events of the world at the time.
16, man.
And then like the interview with the Tengu is kind of funny because Momiji is like their junior to Aya and Hatate. So Momiji has to be like super formal to them, but then they're just kind of mean to Momiji.
Come on now. He's just a
Poor
dog.
dog.
Yeah.
Never gets appreciation that they deserve.
No respect. This person gets respect, though. And this is Moko Fujiwara, the figure of Hooray. You have
Oh
two
my god, it has one soul. What the fuck?
0 days sets. If you have 2 or more Kana History Eater in your memory, this card gets -1 level in your hand. She gets 1,000 power for each of your fantasy characters in your backstage. She's placed on stage from your hand and we reveal top card of your deck. If it is a fantasy character, deal a damage to your opponent. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, if all of your characters are fantasy trait and you have a Kana History Eater in your memory, card is following ability on your opponent's next turn. When this card becomes reversed, return this card to your hand. You're right.
Yeah, she has the same immortal effect that Kaguya has. Because she drank the same elixir that Kaguya drank.
Yep.
That made her immortal.
They
And
the
now she and
same.
Kaguya routinely kill each other for fun.
Yes. Fun.
And then immediately just revive. Moko's dad attempted to marry Kaguya, and she gave him impossible tasks, so he ended up dying trying to fulfill them.
Oh shit.
So Moko has a grudge against Kaguya, and they both kind of just hate each other.
Oh, what the fuck,
But
Kaguya?
Moko got a hold of Aaron's elixir of immortality, and that's why she is also immortal. And I
Oh.
believe her hair has actually gone white from aging, even though the rest of her body still resembles a teenage girl.
Huh.
And yeah, she's BFFs with Kane. And Moko likes to protect the weaker yokai of the bamboo forest. She's such a nice girl.
Yeah. God, and God, does she just look hot in this art? Not just because of the fire.
Yeah, this is pretty cool art of her.
Damn.
I don't think that the ripped shirt was necessary, but yeah, whatever.
I'm here for it. This
And the pants. How did the pants even get ripped like that?
because of the
How does that
fire. It's
how does that even
Evers.
happen?
It's
You'd think that
Evers.
you'd be wearing fireproof pants. No, she's got the Inuyasha pants, the fire rat.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, this was another character that showed up pretty prominently in Phantom Magic Vision card game playing. She had actually something. I think it was something with markers for her immortality or something like that. Because that game
Oh,
had
okay.
quite a few little things that it took from Weisschwartz, honestly. With the way that it generates stock, despite the fact most of
Uh-huh.
the game was running on magic logic, but it also it had life and stuff, mana cost for uh, a lot of stuff. It just played a lot more magic in that way. But yeah, she had some kind of marker centric immortality thing going on, but then she was also just this kind of ridiculous card to have to deal with, and I don't think the Kaguya in that set was nearly as annoying. But that card also just looked really good because it the cards for those were very obviously they took a grab of some of a character drawing or whatever, or they would take a 4 coma panel for an event or something, and just put the art on there. All the characters had the same generic background. Most all the ones that I remember seeing at least,
Hey,
very kind of Weiss Schwartz card design in that way.
well, I decided you mentioned that Moko in that game was just better than Kaguya.
Mm.
Funnily enough, I decided to look at the character popularity poll for 2024.
Yeah.
Apparently Moko is just in the top 10 and is a character that has appeared in 2 games ever.
Yeah.
The popularity poll is wild because Flander is also always in the top 3 and never appears.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Aya struggling out here in 13.
That's still 13 in a pool
Yeah,
of
how many?
Touhou.
Okay, so how many characters does this go down to? Because it is a ridiculous amount. There's 217 characters.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty good.
top 10. I'll take it.
That's yeah.
Moko, I don't. Moko's a ninth though. That's crazy because she doesn't really do much.
She got them. She got them suspenders. She
She's
got
got the
the
cool pants.
got the cool pants. She got the fire. She got the immortality.
Yeah,
She's
she's got a lot of cool stuff going on. Big
yeah,
ribbon,
yeah.
a
You,
big bow.
you don't get a lot of those. Well, I guess you get a decent amount of those. And so the more that I look at these, it's oh, huh. At least in Lost Word, we have a decent amount of ribbons.
90% of the characters have some form of headgear, whether that be a ribbon or a hat or what.
Yeah.
All right,
Moving on.
we have spoken our piece on Moko. Let us now talk about Iku. We have Iku Nagae, beautiful scarlet cloth. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, if there's a character across from her, you can move her to an empty position in the center stage. And then she is a hand bond to the Tenchi Musashi.
Bond. And Bond.
Hand. The name is Hand. Bond Hand.
What? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's a bond to your Musashi, so you can play this as like a one of runner that grabs a card that you might just be playing in your deck.
Yeah.
It's like the Mystia. So one of or two of that like also just does a thing later in the game. And then Iku, she like goes around looking for Tenchi during like the events of Scarlet Weather Rhapsody, and then she keeps getting people confused, thinking that she's the actual like perpetrator. And then she gets out of there. She runs away. So it's like kind of flavorful. I like it. Yeah, B-. That sounds good.
I do love the ribbon, the design, and everything going on with her.
Oh yeah, so she's meant to be an oarfish. I hope I catch more fish. I'm sorry. That's an Animal Crossing reference. Only the best millennials will recognize that one. So Orfish like translates to messenger of the gods, I think, in Japanese. Like if you read the characters literally, and that's why the Orfish have like some connection to dragons or to gods in folklore. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Orfish are pretty interesting looking creatures.
Truth.
This one's a spode.
This is Yamame Akoradani, the Earth Spider. When she's reversed, if her battle opponent is low 0 lower, you may reverse that character. And on your turn, you may rest one of your fantasy characters to give this card the following ability till end of turn. When this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you may put that character on top of your opponent's deck. So she is a level 0 reverse bomb, but she also has this utility where she can make that reverse bomb much more potent as long as she has setup time, because she is Spider, which means she is Batman.
That's correct.
Logic. Yeah. Yeah, he's cute.
This is a very old profile that still manages to be like decent, just because top deck removal is like strong because you get a guaranteed hit out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool because she's a spider, so she like traps you in a little web. She gets you.
Yeah.
And if you try to get her, she still gets you because she's a spider, and that's how spiders work.
Yeah, this was the other character for the other Touhou character that showed up in my D&D game, because in the same vein of like the Flounder was a. I feel like one of the two of them was intentional. I think it was Yamame who was intentionally a Touhou reference, because my Touhou buddy and I were talking at one point, and he just showed me this character. It's like, oh yeah, she'd be perfect. And then I found a cute like fan art. It's like, oh yeah, no, this girl can be the party's like insect type trainer NPC companion.
Yeah.
And have like some like money and stuff, be an NPC person. And then her sister was Flandre and running around with like fairy types and being a bitch. I have fond memories of this character despite having no connection to this character or game whatsoever.
That's funny. My major connection to this character is embarrassing myself when I started to take Japanese in high school, and I was talking to someone there who knew about Touhou, and I said something about Yamame, but I pronounced her name as Yamame, and he lost his shit and like thought it was the funniest thing in the world that I called her Yamame, because that's not how you say that.
Yeah, classic.
Classic American mispronounces word. I'm not American. All right.
Fair enough.
Hey, this is a cool card.
Yeah.
It's SDM trait. Look at that. We got Nameless Devil. You may call her Koakuma, but she doesn't. That's not her official name. We're trying to be a little bit official here. She cannot side attack, but she's a field counter for 1,000 power, and she's 3K, so she might even live a turn.
Yeah.
It's like a decent level 0 that like you can also just park in your back row later in a game.
It is a solid common rarity level 0. If you're not able to pull many packs, you play a few of those.
This is like peak common rare. Yeah.
Yeah, this is absolutely a card that would get put in like if you just took Scarlet Devil and made it like a TD.
Yes, you're right.
Goes in.
Damn, that would be the TD too, because of how Bashir likes to. That's like the one people would recognize and grab off the shelf.
Yeah.
I guess there's no flavor here because there's no flavor to the character. She doesn't exist.
Yeah.
She's like a nameless NPC that like helps Patchouli in the library. This is a character though. This is a bird.
Yeah, this is Adate Himekaero Thoughtography. I'm good at Twisted. If you have, she's a 1/1 5500. If you had 2 or more other fantasy characters, the card gets 2,000 power. And when she attacks, look at the top card of your deck and put it on top of your deck or in your waiting room. Would so love to be an 8 standby target, as it is still doing
Yeah,
okay.
this is a great 8 standby target for a set that can't play 8 standbys.
Yeah.
Hatate is really cute though. She has like nice little hat. She got the Tolkien hat. She got some pigtails. We got the little missing texture skirt, and she takes her pictures with a camera phone instead of a old school camera. She's like Aya's rival because they both run a newspaper company. Neither of them are like very popular among the people for like different reasons. Hatate doesn't actually go out and take pictures, so they're not as high quality as Aya's. But Aya's content is just like stupid as hell. She writes like about dumb shit, and it's all like exaggerated beyond belief. I believe, funny enough, that so humans, Aya delivers her newspaper to them like non-consensually. It's not as consensual receiving of the newspaper. Humans throw them out, but then the crows gather at the garbage to read the newspaper together,
Huh.
like actual crows. I think that's cute.
The birds are just like solidarity. Look, she's giving us the
Yeah,
news. These stupid humans.
yeah. Tate's cool. She has like kind of like psychic powers. She can take pictures of things from afar even without being there. But it means that she doesn't have like the best writing for like her newspaper since she wasn't there to actually see any of it.
Oh, yeah. I'll do. God.
We got one more card in red. We got the Grays event. 3/3 event counter. If you have 5 or more fantasy characters, choose one character in battle, and that gains the following ability until the end of turn. This card cannot deal damage to a player. And then choose one of the following effects and perform it. Choose one of your fantasy characters, return it to your hand. Choose a character in waiting room, return it to your hand. Or discard a card, choose one of your characters, and that card cannot become reversed until the end of turn. The thought process here being graze, so you're not, you're getting around it, you're not getting hit by the bullet. And then you're either bouncing, you're either getting away from it, or you can look at discarding a card as bombing, which means that you're not taking any damage. You're invulnerable for some amount of time. And
Ooh,
discarding a
that.
card is like pressing the bomb button.
Yeah, that is good. Okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I'm done for that. That is.
The second effect used to be just straight up like move gear, but turns out that you can't move gear with a full field. There's nowhere to move to.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit better now. This card's very good. It's a very good anti-damage counter. It has all the problems that modern money counters have.
Yeah.
If they bounce one of your guys, you can't use it. But then they wasted resources bouncing one of your guys.
I did like the move thing as just like a incentive to consider using this when you don't have a full board. Just to be like, well, I really need to save this, but I can also like use this character to like block damage in 2 lanes. But because it is a
That
level
was a
2
funny
counter,
but unintentional side effect of miswording it.
yeah, it's good when those work out and they're like.
It's my sleepover and I get to choose the movie. I like this one more.
I am putting on this. I'm putting on 300, and you can't stop me.
That's right.
Fair enough.
All right. That's
I
it for
can't.
red.
Yeah, I can't stop you because we've reached the end of the video. So tune in next time for a final part of this saga. Till then.